I want to tell you a really cool story about a young man named Victor. He's 20 years old. He lives in Mexico and he's part of our help at our house in Mexico. This guy is next level. I am seldomly impressed by many humans. To be honest, I think many humans have a lot of growth ahead of them. Myself included, I am not perfect by any means. I know I have major faults that I get to work on. But what I love about Victor, he's 20 years old. And I asked him this a couple months ago after I'd noticed him, work in the house. So here's what he does. So he does cleaning, he does pillow fluffing, he does pool maintenance, he does basically anything. Now, you might say, well, jack of all trades, master of none. That's fair to say. Now, what I noticed early on when we moved here, at least for the winter, was he was learning how to do these various things from other specialists. So we had a pool specialist and he would come by the house 3-4 days a week and he's doing the thing, cleaning, vacuuming, the whole bit. And then Victor is learning from him. So there's kind of like this apprenticeship model. And then he learned some other stuff from the cleaning lady, Carmen, and then Gloria, around, certain things around the house. So now he does a lot of these different things. And I continue to tell my kids about this guy because they see him every day, right? And I said, I'm like, guys, please understand that Victor, there are very, very few 20-year-olds who will ever show up like this, okay? So I'm looking at him, he works full-time with us in Mexico, and I'm trying to think of a 20-year-old back home in Canada who would show up in the way that Victor has. I don't even know. I mean, obviously I don't know all the 20-year-olds, obviously, but I'm really shocked at how poor the level of teenagers are, if you will, this generation, and to be honest, even a lot of adults, and how they show up, their sense of entitlement. They don't want to do anything. They just want to watch fucking TV and play Minecraft and vape and fucking get a life, right? So meanwhile, we have Victor. And a couple months ago, we're getting ready to sit down for breakfast, and I noticed Victor is he's cleaning kind of the main outdoor couch. He's cleaned the couch, and then he's taking the pillows, right, the accent pillows, and he's doing the little thing. I don't even know what he's doing, what interior designers would do, make them look all nice and shape them and stuff. And he's doing that on the couch, and there's 10 pillows. And I told my kids, I'm like, guys, just watch this unbelievable thing unfold in front of us. And at that moment, I was like, hey, Victor, ¿cuántos años tienes? How old are you? And he's like, 20. And I told my kids, guys, Victor is 20 years old. And the level of attention and ownership that he is taking with his job is unbelievable. And it's really I have so much respect when people show up like that, because he could phone it in, right? He could do the bare minimum. Now, he obviously wouldn't last here very long if he did that, but it's just unbelievable. Every single day, I'm just amazed at how he shows up. So yesterday, I see him in the morning. I'm going for our morning walk, and he's in Spanish, he's like, everything good? Do you need any help with anything? I'm like, so he's watering part of the garden. And I'm like, no, everything's great. He's like, are you sure? Is there nothing I can do? And jokingly, I said, well, actually, there's a spider in the garden. It was a weird looking thing. I'm like, if you want to take care of that, by all means you can. But I'm like, it's fine. It's in its natural environment. He said, no. If it bothers you, I'll take care of it. I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's all good. But this is the level of service, of ownership, of this is just who he is in terms of how he shows up. And I'm like, honestly, man, I'm going to take this guy back to Canada with us. He's incredible. I share this with you because I don't know what Victor's trajectory in life is going to look like. And I don't know because obviously, he lives in this area of Mexico that, if he's going to have the same level of opportunity that other people might have in other areas that are maybe a little more affluent or well-connected. I really hope whatever the next, 70 years of his life end up looking like, that he's able to take how he's showing up here into everything else he does. And I really hope he does, lives a remarkable life beyond, our time together. Because I know that when I see people like that, whether they're 15, 20, 30, I'm going to invest in you, and we're going to go. Because it's really, really unusual and very rare to find people with that level of ownership and who actually give a shit to that level. And it's very remarkable. And I'm sharing this with you because If you take that same sense of, I really give a shit about everything I do to everything you do in life, you will live a much better quality of life. You'll have a way better business than 99% of people in your space. Because how most people do things is like this. So metaphorically, they're walking down the street, right? Or they're walking in their house. They notice a piece of garbage, like a candy wrapper or something, on the ground, and they think to themselves, oh, that's not mine. And they just walk right by. That's how most people metaphorically live their fucking life and how they run their business. What people like Victor do is they walk down that same path or in that same hallway in the house. They notice the candy wrapper, and even if they didn't throw it there, they pick it up and they put it in the garbage. That's like that little tell right there is how I know how people show up in life. Many, many years ago, before we had kids, my wife and I were walking in New York. And I remember we were walking down the street and this lady took a Coke that was like half full or empty or whatever, and she threw the can into the bush. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I didn't say that to her, I should have, but she was, like a couple loose screws. I'm like, how bad must you perceive your own world whereby you are willing to pollute this world because you don't believe you have a future? And it's like, it's just unfortunate. And what I'm sharing with you here, guys, is like, these small details matter. The level of I don't know if it's hard. I don't know if it's trainable. I don't know if it's in our DNA. I don't know. I was watching a tremendous interview by Mr. Beast, probably one of the best interviews I've seen maybe ever. He's on the Diary of CEO with Stephen Bartlett. And if you want to talk about a candid interview where he just is himself, he's like, fuck this and, F-bombs left, right, and center. And it was very fascinating because he was talking about Feastables, his chocolate company, and how he would drive to all the Walmarts and he'd walk into the stores and he would look at the chocolate bars on the shelf and he would experience them. He'd then pay people to do that at all the Walmarts across the states to experience how people would experience the chocolate. If they took one out of the box, would the box fall forward? And it did, and it fell onto the ground, and then you'd pick it back up. But lo and behold, when you open the wrapper, all the chocolate was shattered because it had fallen on the floor. Like this level of detail that most people are like, whatever, it's in Whole Foods, it's in Walmart, I'm done. He literally goes to all the Walmarts that he's in his vicinity and he battle tests this stuff because he's obsessed. He's obsessed with being the best, with creating something exceptional. And Steven's like, well, what's one of your biggest pet peeves or something like that? And without even hesitating, Mr. B said mediocrity. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And it's these little things, right? This is what separates very average people, which is unfortunately the vast majority of people, from the select few, the Mr. Beast, the Steve Jobs, etc., who create something exceptional. There's this obsessiveness, which some people don't think is healthy, and that's fine. Oh, well, he doesn't seem very happy. Well, maybe guess what? Maybe some people like him don't give a shit about happiness. They're not optimizing for happiness. They're optimizing to build something great. Does that mean that they might have moments where they have some fucked up thoughts and some moments where they don't want to do anything and that might lead to a shorter life? Possibly. But I promise you this, he will leave a far bigger dent on this planet than 99% of people who are optimizing for happiness. There's nothing wrong with either one. We tend to project our own values on other people. Oh, well, he's not happy, therefore what he's doing is not good. No. You're saying you would not be happy doing that, therefore you're not doing it. Cool. Let's call it what it is. Now, he might have a different definition of happiness and fulfillment. For him, maybe it's doing deep focused work. Maybe he loves doing that. Maybe there's aspects of what he does that he doesn't enjoy as much. That's totally cool. But I share this because if you can take a level of obsessiveness, like in whatever way you want to take that, healthy, whatever, you'll create something remarkable, right? Just like Victor has with how he shows up and cleans the house and does the things around here that, most people may not do without overly feeding back to them how they can do things better. I don't really have to give him much feedback. He comes batteries included and he's just like, how can I be a better service? How can I help you? It's really, really remarkable, especially for someone who's 20. When you look at that generation, and most kids are deadbeats, to be honest. They're stuck on their phone. They're stuck on their devices. They're screen sucking all day long. They have no purpose in life. But guess whose fault that is? The fucking parents, right? I'm shocked, and I know I'm going off on a bit of a rant here. The number of restaurants I go to and families sit down together and their kids are always on devices. In fact, here in Mexico, every single, like I swear to God, 100% of the Mexican families that I've seen in restaurants, when they sit down with their kids, without fail, every single time, and we go for dinner like 5 nights a week pretty much, without fail, every single one of their kids are on devices. Whether they're, less affluent, more affluent, whatever, 100%. And I notice this because I notice this stuff. Like, I'm just like, it aggravates me. And I've actually had, while we've been down here, no less than 3 or 4 different times, people sitting at restaurants have been like, they've shook my hands. They've acknowledged my voice. They're like, hey, your kids are incredible. And they're amazed because we actually have a conversation with our kids. Because like, I will jump off a cliff before I raise my kids in the way that a lot of people do, which is just show up and do the bare minimum, phone it in. It's okay. It's okay at family time at a table while we're having a meal to be on your device. Like, there's no fucking world in my mind where that's even remotely okay. And listen, if that's how you raise your family, if that's how you raise your kids, that's amazing. Good for you. But like, whatever. I'm not judging. I mean, I guess I am to a certain extent because I'm sharing my thoughts here, but I'm not saying that my way is better. I'm just saying that like, I really, really appreciate presence, and presence is very, very scarce these days because everyone's distracted with other things. And I just, when I see people like Victor, who I'm talking about in this video, it's so meaningful because it's so rare. And hopefully you can take from this conversation that if you can create a business or a life philosophy about doing things with a level of attention and care, call it obsessiveness or whatever, you'll create a remarkable life. A great book on this topic is by Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average. I think again, the title says it all, right? Not everyone is okay with that. And that's why most people are average at best. So if you want to be average, cool, you'll have an average business. But if you want to be excellent, then you have to be excellent everywhere. You have to look at the little details. And I was talking with Gloria, our cleaning lady, because they changed cleaning ladies on us a little while ago. And I was like, what's wrong with Carmen? She's been amazing. And they're like, well, we want to have redundancy so people in case someone gets sick. I'm like, fine. So Gloria comes in, really nice lady. But I noticed the level of detail was not the same. And I told her, I'm like, Gloria, like, there's a couple things that I'd love for you to just pay attention to. So like half our house is outside, right? So there's dust and there's cobwebs and stuff like that. I want to create a living space for myself, in addition to when we rent this out to other people, that you look like the tell is when you look in the corners, like you look in the cracks by the doors. And if there's dust and shit and cobwebs in there, that's telling. It's someone who's missed the details. I'm like, no. You see like where the shower head is, and on top of that, there's like this little cobweb? Get that shit out of there every day. You see like the little door thing at the bottom, the railing there? I want that sucked out, vacuumed every day. I want that like clean where you could eat sushi off of it if you wanted to. You might say, Yuri, that's OCD. Yes, it is. Welcome to living with me. I want to create an environment that is so pristine that anyone staying here, myself included, is like, holy shit, this is next level. Better than a hotel, better than whatever else. And that's the standard I set for my life. And it's the standard that I set in our business. So when people ask, well, what's it like working with Yuri and Healthpreneur? That's an example. Like, you can certainly go to Motel 6 and pay far less. There's so many fucking coaches out there that are just okay. And that's fine. If you want to start there, you're going to pay twice. You're going to go through that and you're going to realize it was okay at best. And then you're going to come back to us. And I share this because it happens all the time. And they're like, I wish I had known about you, or I wish I had joined you like a year or two ago. I'm like, that's fine. You just get to pay more and you get to pay twice. But life experience teaches I can only warn, but it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter about the tactics. It doesn't matter about the stuff. Like, please understand that like just knowing the level of obsessiveness that I have and the level of standard that I uphold for myself in my own personal life. Do you think that my business would be anything less than that? No fucking way. No way. There are people that are no longer on our team over time because they can't keep up with the standard and growth of our company. I will never subject our clients to anything less than excellent. And I know that we're not even close to the pinnacle, and we'll never reach the pinnacle, but we'll keep fucking trying every single day, and we'll keep getting better, because that's what it's like working here. That's what it's like being in the healthpreneur ecosystem. And that's a reflection of how I view the world, of how I want to create something exceptional, not just another business for other people to whatever. So if you're ever wondering like what it's like working with us, there's a reflection of it. Do all of our clients win? No. Some of our clients don't even show up. So if that's you, let's not even have the conversation. But if you too feel like, yeah, like I can't stand this shit, this mediocrity, I have a higher standard for my life, or I aspire to having a higher standard, then you simply have to be in those type of environments. So I, again, fundamentally don't care if you work with us. Obviously, we have a very big vision and a big mission to help a lot of people and help a lot of practitioners grow great businesses online. But I know that if you're not a good fit, there are thousands of others who are. So I don't lose sleep over the fact when people are like, well, Yuri, like, how are you different? I'm like, fuck, man, I'm not different, right? I'm the same as everyone else. It's okay. You'll eventually figure it out. So I'm not here to sell anyone. I'm here to hopefully inspire you to a higher standard, but most importantly, to show you what owner-like commitment looks like, what higher standards in life look like, and how it translates into everything you do, whether it's your personal life, picking up a piece of trash off the ground that's not even yours, to building a great business. If this resonates with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you think I'm fucking crazy, please let me know as well, because then I'll know where you're at. And I think that'll be interesting too. So if you've enjoyed this, finally, subscribe to the channel. I've got hundreds of other videos to help you elevate your life through an amazing online business that helps more people. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. So in this episode of #winning, I want you to understand that easy and growth don't exist in the same universe. If you follow my work, if you value the work you're doing, if you value building something meaningful, that requires growth.